On today's special episode of In the Know, we'll be hosting a roundtable discussion with 3 leading ProAdvisors to hear how they set their clients up for success with the best possible suite of Intuit services. Hey ProAdvisors, I'm Jacqueline and you're watching In the Know. It's the show designed to keep you in the know on the most important updates to QuickBooks Online. So here's the scoop. We heard that it's hard to know which client is a best fit for which Intuit product or SKU. So we've invited 3 ProAdvisors for their real-world perspective so that you can better communicate with your clients and set them up for success. Let's turn now to ProAdvisors Carla Caldwell, Nayo Carter-Gray, and Matt Skinner. Hey gang, welcome.
Hey.
Hello.
Good to see you all. Okay, so agree or disagree. Is it complex to pair clients with the best Intuit product or SKU? Nayo, let me start with you. Is this complex? How do you handle it? Can you kick us off?
I think that there are a lot of SKUs that us accountants have to sift through to figure out which product better fits each client. So in my firm, we have a little hack, and that is choosing the very similar set of client types. So we don't have to look at all the SKUs. We can look at just a few because I know for the clients we serve, these will be the best fit.
I like that idea, Nayo. Again, we go back to niche, and it's not always by industry, but it's also the functionality of what we do for our clients. So I think that's really smart thing to do.
Yeah, our little baby clients, we try to keep them small so we can predict what their needs will be. The beautiful thing is, if they exceed expectations, we can always glow up and upgrade to the different SKUs in the product line. But typically we're starting at the bottom end and working our way up versus having to figure it all out for each client that goes forward.
Is that true for you as well, Matt? Do you focus on a particular niche or is it different at your firm?
Yeah, I think we almost work the opposite. We think, what's the thing that they have to have, right? Let's say they have projects. And so I'm going to have to start there and move down, right? Because as there's certain things added at higher levels, it's more important to me, like, does it have budgeting and forecasting? Because they're going to need budgeting and forecasting. Any plan that doesn't have that is kind of off the table. So it's a limitation how it's set up. But like Nayo said, it's complex. Clients are complex. Everything's complex. It's all hard. So we just kind of look for, what do we absolutely have to have in order to make this engagement a success? If it's projects, then we're always going to go up to that one specific level.
Matt, let me tap into that. So how do you do that level of intake with your clients or lead that type of discovery so that you uncover the absolute must-haves and then line them up with the right SKU?
Yeah, most of our client intake is very, very dry. Obviously, like, we're an accounting firm, there's a lot of check the box compliance stuff. But really it's about their pain points and their goals, right? If somebody says, I want to know more about this, or I want to ultimately achieve this, what are the tools we're going to need in QuickBooks to reach that level? So ultimately it's up to the client. But if they say, look, I've got 25 interested parties, they all need to have access to the books, it's important that we have that visibility, then it's decided, right? We're on advanced. That's that. So it's either about their wants or their needs to sort of say, like, what's the point that we need to reach in those varying SKUs to meet those expectations.
But I think Matt is underselling himself here. It's nothing about him that's dry. He's actually quite funny.
It's just me, though. The rest of the job, that's why I'm like this, to make up for what I do all day long.
You have to make up for that. I understand that. I totally get that. Because Nayo, I don't think you or I have ever been called, wallflowers either. So I think we're all pretty fun, exciting accountants. And you know what? Here's the little secret, and we're talking to a bunch of accountants. We all are actually pretty fun people. It's just that our job is kind of, well, some people think it's not, but I have fun doing what we do.
TV is the one that tells everybody that we're boring. Everybody watches TV. They all fall for it. They need to spend less time with TV, more time with us, hanging out with our accountants.
That's it.
That's right. That's it. Oh, I love that. Less TV, more accountant. There we go. There's a tagline for something. Anyway.
To Matt's point, when you do intake with clients, so when they're first starting to work with your firm, how do you lead that discovery such that you uncover, oh, okay, these are the features that my clients really needs to be successful with me?
Yeah, we work with two main niche industries. So we work with a lot of construction service clients that are using projects. So we almost always know we're going on QBO Plus or Advanced. So that really helps with that. And in our nonprofits as well, which is our other main niche, they're usually in there because they need classes and locations. And then it just is, when do we upgrade them? But we do get clients that have, a holding company, and we know that most of the time they fit in Ledger. And so we kind of have our favorites that we work with, quite honestly. And, so those are probably the three biggest plans that we would imagine. I haven't looked, to be honest, to see exactly where the numbers fall on each subscription level, but I would imagine that's kind of how it fits, because that's the level of client that we have in those areas. We don't work with a lot of solopreneurs, so we don't use that one. We don't use self-employed I don't think I have anybody on it. So I think it really is just kind of what fits best for your firm, whether it's the industries you're in or the types of services you provide, and things like that. I will just say, though, as Matt, you were talking about that, I loved that idea that it's like we're kind of going to the one that, has the features that we need. I think sometimes that as an accountant, and I'm speaking for me, I'm sure other accountants are not as cheap as I am, but I'm thinking like I want to pay as little as possible for it. And so I'll bend over backwards. I'm like, if we did this, then we get, and then I finally have gotten to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm making it where they can go into QBO Plus and put 15 companies by location instead of charging $10 for each one, because now we have Ledger. And I'm like, but then it's harder for me. And I'm like, if they have a company, seriously, so I'm getting to the point where I'm like, this isn't what it's about. I'm not here trying to save them money on their QBO subscription. I'm trying to put them in the right one, because otherwise we end up taking on more of the work, and that's no bueno. So anyway, that's just my little rant for today.
Yeah, cost of doing business. We have to look at the subscription fee as that and explain to our customers, like, you want the right tool for the job. You won't try to hammer a nail with a screwdriver. That you're just going to either bust up your finger or bust up the tool. So yeah, I'm all for choosing the right subscription level for their needs, and not necessarily just going to the cheapest one because it's cheap. I have had clients come to me and they're paying for the highest level tier of product. And I'm like, you're not even using half of these features, so we can turn it off. But then I have clients who are on the cheapest level, and I'm like, you got 5 people working for you. Y'all are trying to share a login. It's time to upgrade, buddy. So I think for us, we find out their needs or what they're currently using, one, through that initial phone call. So we do have a consultation. We meet with every client, learn a little bit about themselves, their business, who they work with, and from there find out if they do already have a subscription. And then we ask for access to it so we can learn a little bit more. But I'm always about, what is it? Who is this that found the right bed and went to sleep all cozily? Yes, that's what we're looking for, the Goldilocks subscription, just making sure that the client's needs are met, as well as us being able to do our jobs effectively and not, be stressing or trying to spend extra time making things work. No duct tape solutions around here.
Because our position is that because we pass through Intuit costs directly, and so it's like if you don't want to pay for the higher tier, that's cool. You just end up paying for it in hours. Right? Like it gets made up somewhere else, or you don't really get what you need. And then it's sort of like, why did you go and retain an accountant and get a QuickBooks file and then decide after all of that, okay, but not more than $12 a year. Like that's all I want to spend on it. Right. So it ends up shaking out in the end anyways, if you want valuable, usable financial information.
100%.
So let's widen the lens. Intuit QuickBooks started with general ledger, and over time now Intuit offers this ecosystem of products, from payroll to bill pay, payments, and more. MailChimp, of course. How do you think about the suite of services holistically? So Carla, let me start with you. When you're doing this discovery and intake with a client, how do you think about pairing them with like the overall right set of tools and services for their needs?
Yeah. I mean, we talk to them about it and let them know that all of those things are there. I'm honestly, I'm not an expert in MailChimp or in Credit Karma or whatever. And so I will tell them about it. And then they usually do their own research and decide kind of where that is. And I mean, we use MailChimp, so I can tell them my experience with it. I usually am focusing more on the financial suite of products, the payroll, the QuickBooks Bill Pay, the QuickBooks Payments, and things like that. I can go deep on that stuff and talk about the benefits of that a lot, and I do. So I usually, as we're doing that discovery call, we're asking a lot of questions about where they are today, where they plan to be, because we know we'll introduce that to them later. But our team is involved in this as well. I'm not in every client. I just had a meeting with a client I haven't seen in a year, but my team knew everything that was going on with them and talked through things. And so they're the ones suggesting those features quite a bit. So we talk about this internally a lot so they can suggest it. So for us, it's just looking for those opportunities to help our clients find better ways to do things. And it just so happens that QuickBooks has a lot of those tools, available to us to integrate into what they're already doing. That just makes it easier for them and us to work with our clients.
Right. I think we I wouldn't say push, that sounds very agenda-like, but we support the same part because people already have a million logins. They're already going to a million websites. They already have a million different systems to learn. And it's like, okay, but you've got these payables and you've got these receivables and you've got this marketing and you've got this payroll. Do you want to go to 12 different websites that may or may not perfectly integrate back? If you're doing bill pay through your bank, it's going to be a little wiggly. Or you can have your one login and your one main hub and learn the one place and get comfortable with that and the aesthetic of that. And then that way, it's that sort of it just works sort of thing that we all expect out of all technologies all the time, because it's all in that same ecosystem versus, hey, I have this bill pay platform that my rinky-dink bank uses, and I have payroll that's my cousin's little sister's company. And like, how do I get this stuff into QuickBooks? And the answer is, I wish you the best of luck getting all that into QuickBooks.
I think you have another quote there, Matt, talking about that they can use their wiggly system. I absolutely love that. That's going to be used. I love that. That's great. You're right.
Just credit me each time you say the word wiggly. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
No charge, but I just want a little bit of credit.
I promise. I will quote Matt Skinner on wiggly all the time now.
Oh my gosh. Well, Matt, Carla, and Nayo, thank you so much for sharing your insights on how you fit clients to the best suite of Intuit products. I've learned a ton, mainly about how you lead through inquiry and do this discovery with your clients. It's not a guessing game. It's really about understanding them and their needs so you can pair them up with the right set of features. So thank you all so much. And thank you for watching this episode. I'm Jacqueline, the host of In the Know and leader of ProAdvisor training and certification. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. We'll catch you next time.